Awesome. All right, so I'm live. Just want to thank everybody for jumping into the class today. It's going to be essentially going over how you can do email campaigns in Command. And one other thing, happy Monday. We made it to September, basically. Can't believe it. But anyway, I'm going to get started. And like I said, I'm going to be going over how you can create email campaigns using KW Command. So as like a little kind of backstory, about a month or two ago, KW introduced something called Command Email. And Command Email is basically what they're using as like a tool to help facilitate bulk emailing. So if you recall back in like the beginning of the system being set up, MailChimp was essentially what they were using for any of the bulk emailing. Now with Command Email, that's going to help you do that without having to pay any additional fees or having to have or be limited by the amount of people you can email. So to get started, I just want to go into my settings real quick because this is how we're just going to set up our email service. And if I scroll down to the bottom, there's going to be a section here called email services. You can see that I do have two of them. We do have MailChimp, of course, which we can still use. And you also have one here now called Command Email, the official email provider of Command and the Olympic Games. Just kidding about the Olympic Games. But official email provider of Command, you get 5,000 emails for free per month, which is pretty good. If you think you're going to be sending more than that per month, you can obviously buy into a subscription. They do have some subscriptions you can buy. But I think for a monthly thing, 5,000 is quite a lot. So I think that would be sufficient for just about everybody. Now, it's already connected by default, but if you hit manage, they do have a few other options here, as you can see. I do have the ability to select the email that will be my reply to. It defaults to your KW email or whatever's in your white pages under your Keller Williams email. You can see here also white pages email, my recovery email, my marketing profile email. You can add custom ones as well. So if you do have an email that you typically use as a email for when you're sending out like those marketing emails and you want to have it replied to that email, you can do that as well. So that's all you really need to do to get it set up. Like I said, it's already kind of set up for you. The only thing you're really specifying is the sender name and your reply to email. And you do have a nice little counter here that gives you the amount of emails you've already sent this month. In this case, I've only sent out 87, which isn't too bad, but it does keep track of that and it does reset every month. So just be aware of that. Again, if you wanted to buy into an account, they do have some subscriptions as well. I think they're relatively inexpensive. So if you decide you need to send out 10,000 emails, for example, you can see here it's actually $10 a month, which isn't too bad. You can go all the way up to 50,000 if you're going super hard with those emails, and it's about $69 per month. So I think that's pretty good. But again, 5,000 emails for free, that's also really good. So let's click out of this, and we're going to click out of this as well. And what I want to do now is I want to scroll back up to the top here. I'm going to go to my home screen again, and I'm going to just click that red button. So it's the red KW button here. And I want to go to where it says campaigns. So we're going to be working primarily in campaigns today. I'm going to be going over some things that you could also expect in the future, but we're going to be working primarily with campaigns. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now, when you go into campaigns, you'll always be landed into this dashboard screen here. So it just kind of gives you an overview of just all the connected accounts, training modules. You also have some quick post material here as well. Again, we're not going to be focused on this stuff primarily. We're going to go into emails. So the way that we do that is we go to create a new campaign, and you go here where it says email. And just as a quick heads up, if you notice that I'm pausing like for a few seconds, typically it's because there's people waiting in the waiting room and I'm just letting them in. So just as a heads up, um, just want to let you know that's what's going on. So here again, I'll just do that once more. I'm in campaigns and I want to go where it says create a new campaign and I want to go to email. Once you're clicking on that, it brings you to this card here. It's basically going to ask me what the campaign name is. You can call it whatever you want. As a quick heads up as well, they only have right now 2 different templates. They're 2 newsletter templates. However, you could basically populate them with whatever type of content you want. So if you're putting together a newsletter for maybe a town you're focusing on, or perhaps you have a list of open houses you're doing this weekend, you can still use those sections and then you can put in whatever content you want. Or even if you want to use like 1 or 2 of them and then maybe the ending one has like a new listing that's coming on or any sort of thing you want to put in there.
Chris, it's Mike. I have a question. Could you put in like a PDF or could you put in a Word doc?
You could if it's a link. So like if you wanted to have it as a link back, because we're going to go over how you can create like a call to action button. And that call to action button, you can put in any sort of link as long as it's, I would probably use a link for like a Google Doc or something, or in that case, like a PDF. I'll show you how you can do that in a second.
Thank you.
But you can't attach it like an email, like you would typically do with an email, not just yet at least. So let's just call this, we'll put test 831 2020 so I know which one it is. You do have some goals here. Now these goals, as far as I'm aware, they're not going to affect anything with the email itself just yet. I think as the system grows and the AI gets smarter, if I selected, for example, advertised listing, it might give me some kind of examples of emails that were used before that were effective, or it might give me some pre-populated content. I expect a lot of that to be happening in the future, definitely. So keep an eye out on that. But again, in this case, I'm just going to say track or advertise listing. We'll do that one. Then you still have 2 options available. So if you recall back in like the beginning of the year, you only had MailChimp as one option. So now you do have that command email there, which is great. If you're still using MailChimp, obviously you can still select that as an option. It does track all the analytics either way. And I'll show you after this where the reporting goes, but let's go ahead and continue here. We're going to hit setup campaign. Then what it's going to do, it's going to bring me to a screen here. So if you've worked in campaigns before, we've done classes on this stuff, you'll notice that the screen looks very similar to if I'm creating like a Facebook ad or a direct mailing piece. The setup is very similar in the user experience. So on the left-hand side is your setup, step by step. On the right-hand side is going to be your email preview. So it's basically going to show you what the preview will look like before it's sent out. One new thing that they have added in the last couple weeks is the ability to schedule an email, which is great. So now you can actually schedule this in advance and you can have it go out. Let's say I put this together on a Monday. I want it to go out on a Friday. You can schedule it in advance now, which is great. So let's get started here. Step 1 is completed. I'm going to take off this hurting my ears. Step 1 is complete. We have step 2, which is my reply to email, which I've already had. Then here you'll notice that there's a section called Recipient List. So the way that the recipient list works is essentially what you'll be able to do. You can select a list of your contacts. So let's say I'm doing it by a specific tag, or if I want to select all my contacts, you can do that simply by, let's go and create a list. So we're going to create a new list from scratch here. Now, as I mentioned, you could separate it by specific tags. So if I have a list of contacts in here that are already in a tag, I could select the tag. You could select all. The only thing I will tell you is that it only selects up to 100 at a time. So if you have like 1,000 contacts in here, or maybe more than that, you do have to go all the way to the bottom and hit load more. and that's going to continuously load all of them until it selects all of them. So you could do it that way, and then you'll have like a master list. That way you can send out to all of them. But if you're trying to be a little bit more narrow with the audience, you can go by tags. So I know a lot of agents are tagging their database. This is a great way to get your marketing separated, because now all those tags you've been working hard on can be used to create these nice little mailing lists. So let's just use an example here. I'll use this add 123, and I do have a bunch of contacts in here, as you can see. In this case, it's only 3. Let's say hypothetically I had like 100 in there. So if I hit select, I can go ahead and just put a name on this. We'll say it's my add 123 contacts, and we'll go ahead and hit confirm. So now you'll notice that I have a list created for add 123 contacts. Those are the only people that are going to get this email from me. Now, if I selected another list, like let me say as an example, my city views list, all the agents who are on this list will get that email. I'm going to use my add 123 list. So this is going to be the list I'm using for this particular email. You'll notice that the send to and reply email, or the sender name and reply email, are already pre-selected. That's going based off of the settings I set up before in my setting menu. You could edit it if you want. So if you wanted to go back and edit it, you can do that. I'm going to keep it defaulted right now. That's fine. That looks good. Then you have to do your subject line. So let's say we can say something like open houses for the weekend. Or, you know, it could be something as simple as what's happening in Harrison, NJ. So that can be a subject as well. Maybe I'm going to do a newsletter for the town of Harrison. So I'll roll with that. We're going to do something with this. But you can, like I said, you can use basically any type of content you want, whether it be new listings that came on, maybe you have open houses you're hosting this weekend. As I said, with the content specifically, we're going to go ahead and select a design here. The KWRI templates that are currently available are just these newsletter styles. They do have a new design editor coming soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, because by Mega Camp, we should have that. And you'll actually be able to create your own nicely done templates here. I'll definitely be doing a class on that next month, or starting September, which is tomorrow. But if we use KWRI's templates, you do have these two right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just select one of them. I'll use this one here called Newsletter Style 2. And when you click on it, you're going to notice here that the content that appears, it's basically inline. So it's all just inline content. All this information that you see here is going to auto-populate. So it's not going to be like these weird strings of letters and symbols. It's going to be auto-populated with my info. Same with the top. As you can see, it already kind of did it for me. But that's also because here it's already pre-filled. This information is pre-filling from your marketing profile, by the way. So if you notice that it's blank, you can go and fill it in, obviously, but it is pulling in from the marketing profile. So if I go down here, license number, I don't have one, so I'm just gonna put in that. I'll put a designation as that, and that can be basically any designation for yourself. If you scroll down here, you'll notice that it starts auto-populating when I do that. Let's go back up to the top. Agent photos there. My DBA logo is also there. Again, this is also pulling in from my marketing profile. Email title. So you'll notice here, this says email title. So when I type this in, like what is NJ, something like that, it's going to auto-populate here, and then I can put, we can put like August 2020. Or it can be something like open houses this weekend. and I can put like September, whatever this weekend is. I think it's like the 6th to the 7th, something like that. I'm going to keep it the same that I had it before. There we go. So we're going to keep that all the same. Now, as I start working down this list, everything again is in line. So basically here I have my section headline number 1. We can say like, what's new on the market? And then basically from section headline description number 2, or description number 1 rather, sorry. This is going to be a little description of what type of content I'm just going to be displaying or leading that contact to. So I can say something like, here is a list of homes that recently not Garrison. So something like that. It doesn't have to be too long. Again, if you already have something written up, you can obviously copy and paste it. This is also a good place if you had like some sort of blog post that you liked and you wanted to share it. You can even use that as content for sure. Again, just kind of letting people in here. Section headline photo number 1. That's just going to be an image I want to display here. I'll go grab something from Google real quick. Let's go ahead and just I'll pop this one in there. Looks good. So then basically what I'm going to do is just drag and drop this in. And we'll just crop that a little bit. All right. So then that will also auto-populate, you'll see here. As I'm kind of moving through this section, everything will give you a preview. So that looks pretty good. I'll leave that alone for now. I'm going to go to button copy number 1, and I can say like view listings here, something like that. And then maybe I've already created some sort of search on my website, perhaps, which you can also do. So I'm just going to go on my website and I'm just going to pull in a search for this area. Okay. So this is actually giving me a little kind of like search that I've pre-created based on some of these criterias here. I can obviously change this if I wanted to. But let's just use that as like a specific search. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy that link here. So that's the link. So now if somebody clicked on that, they would be led directly to my website with that property search. And that looks pretty good. Cool. Oops. Sorry, I was getting some feedback there. Okay, so just to kind of go back to this, let's X out of that. So section 1 is essentially completed. Now for me to go ahead and do all the other sections, it's kind of like repeating the same process over. So you have section headline number 2, and this could be like events in the area. I don't know, something like that. So it could be like events or events coming soon. Okay, and then maybe I'll do like, you know, here are some nice fall related events happening in the Harrison area. So I'm just using that as like an example here. You know, as we're getting into fall, there might be some cool things happening, hopefully. Section headline number 2. So maybe I'll grab like another like autumn. Maybe I'll just use like an image for autumn, something like that, right? And I'll just save this as well. And we will drag and drop that here. And I'll just crop that. There you go. So then this is almost done. Basically, all I need to do now is my button copy. So I'll say like see events here. And then maybe I have like a list that I've set up on Facebook or something, or maybe I have like a Google Doc. So if I'm using something from Google, so as the example, I'm just going to go into, actually, let's go here to Google Drive or Google Docs. Let's just use a Google Doc as an example. So perhaps I made like some nice little PDF or Google Doc that I want to display or show. So I'll use like, we'll just create a blank one. And I see in chat here, should we be concerned with copyrights for the images? If you're concerned about it, or if you're worried that you might get in trouble, I do have a nice website here I can show you. It's called, 1 second, let me pull it up. Pexels, I think this is the one. So this one is basically a site that literally has like all stock images that you can use for free. Super useful. So like I can kind of do the very similar search here and I can find like stock images that are copyright free. So that's pexels.com. Super useful, you know, if you're just looking for stock images for anything. Great resource and it's free. So I'm just going to use, let's just say like 912. I don't know, it'll be like a pumpkin patch or something like that. So like basically you're here, maybe I would have a list of all the things that are happening. Now, because these live online, you could share these. So a document like this that I would have set up, I can go ahead and share that as a link. Leslie's asking, aren't all Google images public images? Not necessarily. You could Google search anything and there will be images that could be copyrighted. It could be something from a photographer, or usually with Google, it aggregates a lot of content from all different sites. So it could be stuff coming in from Flickr, which a photographer might own that content. So that's just kind of like my experience with that. But again, with that site I just showed you, that's all public copyright-free images. So just coming back to this real quickly, as I said, these links here live online. So when I share this, I can use that as a link for my CTA link. So let's say I want to create a share link for this. And we'll just say this is, you know, events for fall, something like that. Then what you can do here is create the link, and I'll just create this as, let's make it a public link. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, so it's already created as a public link. Okay. So this link here, I can use that. And what I can do is I can paste it in here. And that will become a link that if somebody clicked on it, they can view all the stuff that I wrote into that events page. One thing you could also notice, if I'm going back to it, is you can have it labeled as just for viewers, so nobody can go in and edit anything. They can just look at it. So that's another option if you're trying to share like a PDF or a document. Great way to do it because it's living on a Google document link, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to click out of this. So section 2 and section 1 are done. We have one section here. So basically, as I said, you can use whatever type of content you want. You know, it could be a blog post. It could be a list of open houses or a virtual tour, perhaps. So maybe in this case, maybe I'll say something like open house this weekend. I saw Javier raised his hand. What's going on? What's your question? You can unmute yourself.
Chris, is that the only way to type test by using the link?
What was that?
Is that the only way to type test into the email?
right now, you're asking if that was like the only way that I can share like a link or like
No,
a document or something.
a document, or like example, I want to say, hey, let's say this is what's happening in real estate. I want to share a cooking recipe, just to say something.
Yeah.
So it's not only sales, from a
Yeah, you can basically put anything that you want in here because it's your content. So the idea is that like you can customize it however you want. I'm just using like these few examples here. Something like a cookie recipe as well, you can also probably just post into the body of the email. But if you want somebody to click through, you can use that as your CTA link, and you can say like view recipe here. And then when they click on it, it could be going back to like a blog post somewhere. It could be a recipe you written up through a Google Doc, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw somebody ask a question in the chat. Is it necessary to do all sections? Can we option out the third? That's an update that's supposed to be coming. I thought it was supposed to be out already, but there's going to be an update that you can actually omit certain sections. So if you're only going to use like one or two of them, you'll be able to do that. I was told that update already came out, but it hasn't, or I haven't seen it yet. So once I hear when that section editor comes out, I'll let everybody know for sure. Because I've been looking forward to that too. Because like sometimes you don't need all three sections, or maybe you only need one. So I think that would also answer the question that Leslie had as well. She was asking if you can only use one section. Yeah, I believe once that editor comes out where you can change out the sections or delete sections, you can essentially have one section if you wanted to, or maybe even more than three. As soon as I get more information on those updates, I can let everybody know for sure. But here in this case, I do have to add another section for number 3. So I do have to put something in there. I'm just using an open house as an example. So I'll say like, come by to whatever it is, 123 Main Street on Saturday, September 6th. Something like that. And then basically here, again, I'll have a headline image that can be like a property photo. Let me go grab one of those as well. And I'll use that website here. I'll just put home. Let's see, I'll just use this one. And then I'll go ahead and just pop it there. Oh, I think it's too big. Let me just edit that real quickly. Oh, okay. 1 second. I'll just use a image I already had on my computer. 1 sec. Okay, where's my images here? Just use something like that. Okay, so section headline number 3, here's the headline image. I just popped in an image I had on my computer. Button copy, this can be something like view virtual tour, or it could be RSVP if I'm still doing, if I'm doing like a virtual open house, maybe I'll have them RSVP. And then the link back can go to either a landing page or it can be an event page. I'm going to use on my page here, I'm just going to take a link from my website. I'll do it as my contact page. Okay, I'll just paste that in there. And I do see a couple things in chat. What is the difference between template 1 or 2? I can show you the template number 1. It's basically just the layout's a little bit different. And then the other question in chat, is there a layout of, is there a layout of what should go into section 1, 2, or 3? Example, first one has to be about a town, second for an event, and third extra links. I don't think there's any sort of like guideline of what should be going first or second, because it's meant to be like something you can put together, and it can be very much custom to however you want. So there isn't like a kind of like a guideline. I'm sure I can probably find something though, because Command Your Conversion, they post a lot of different kind of like content guides, and they might have one for the emails campaigns in particular. So if I find something, I can definitely send it to you. But just to answer the question, there's no like actual like this has to be first or this has to be second. I would say what you should be putting first or second is the content you really want your customer or contact to see first, because as they start scrolling down, if they go through the first 2 or 3, they might not want to scroll through the rest, depending on the type of content you have. So I would always put like the most important thing first, of course, and then I'd probably go into like a sequential order from there. What happens if you don't fill out sections 2 and 3? It won't let you save it. So basically you have to make sure all these sections are saved, because there is a red asterisk near every single section. Once the editor that I've been talking about lets you delete a section out, you can obviously go through maybe one section and not have to worry about the other ones. But in this case, I do have to go through all 3. And if it notices that something's missing, it'll say like you have something missing in this section. Hope it answered that question. Now, as I'm scrolling down here, basically everything's filled out. Now, I know they have something here called team logo, and I'm obviously not on a team. If I'm not on a team, what I might do is just add my DBA logo, or I might just add a default Keller Williams logo, which you could download from KW Connect. I'll show you after this. Let me see if I have just a KW logo in here. I think I might just have like a sample one. I'll just use a city views one. It's all good. So let's see. I'm just going to use this. I'll just use this white one. I'll just do something like that. Okay. So it says it's uploading that. Give it a second. So yeah, everything here looks like I have everything filled out basically that I need. We'll hit apply design. So basically, once I'm done with the design, can we use our picture? Yeah, if you wanted to do that, you definitely can. Leslie's saying, can you show us how to extract one from KW Command? Are you talking about the logo? If you're talking about the logo, yes, I can show you how to do that. Let's go back. So KW Connect, I'm going to go to kwconnect.com. And from here, what I want to do is I want to go where it says resources. And under resources, I want to go where it says marketing. So under marketing, there's a section here called logos and branding. I'm going to click on that as well. And I'm going to scroll down here. There's a section here where I can download those logos. I just have to put in my market center number or the name of the market center. I'll just put in, let's say, City Views. Then what I can do is I can hit that button that says download, and that's going to download a zip file. And that zip file is going to contain all the logos that I need in various colors. So they'll be like white or black, gray. You'll have like some of the reverse logos. So you'll have like the white font versus the gray font, depending on the designs you're working with. So this zip folder here is going to have everything you need. And that's how you can access that. And once you upload those once, you're not going to have to upload it again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click out of this. So basically from here, if I go to preview now, if I want to take a look at what it looks like, you can see here, Gives you a nice little outline of what the email can be expected to look like. It also has a iPad or tablet and phone. It's not going to look like this on your phone. Don't worry. I think that's just like a glitch right now, but it's going to look more normalized on a phone as well. I've definitely seen it. This is your desktop version here. So this is what it would look like typically on your desktop. What you can also do here, if you want, you can send out a test email. So if I wanted to send this to myself for a test, you can also do that. I'll send it to my email here. I'll send that test email out. I'll give it a couple seconds to send. But as it's doing that, the other question I seen in chat was, what was the difference between the newsletter template number 1 and newsletter template number 2? So if we're going to do another template here, I'll do test number 2. We'll do advertise listing, and I'll hit setup campaign. So if I go to designs and then I go to template number 1, as you can see, slightly different. So basically you can also add a banner image on the top. So that can just be a banner. Let me see if I have any banners that I can use. Let's see if I have just like a stock banner. Yeah, I'll just use this one. So we'll just use this as my banner image, and we'll do a wide. And there's the banner. So this can be, any sort of banner image that you want to use. Maybe it's like your like email banner. That would probably also work. Large headline number 1. So basically, again, this is kind of like the name of the email. Something in chat. When they RSVP, it goes directly to my KW email. Do I link my email to that? So the RSVP link that I created, it could be a link back to basically anything. If I had like a landing page for them to RSVP on, they could respond back to you directly because the email is going directly to your KW email as the reply to. This is going to be, just say like monthly newsletter. So I'm just doing like a different thing here. I can just say like August 2020. So this one I'm using as more like a newsletter template, just kind of like general information perhaps. This one actually doesn't have links. So as you can see, it doesn't have like a link back to anything. So this one's slightly different in a sense. It's going to be more so like the content will be generated here, but there's no link back, like a call to action link. So that's why I actually prefer the other one, just because I have those links that I can use. If you're not going to be using links, you can use this one, of course, because it's not going to have any sort of link back. They're going to be all in the email here, if that makes sense. But basically the way that it's set up is almost exactly the same. It's just more of like a preference in the styling. And again, you do have to have all those sections filled out or else it's not going to let you move forward. But I do expect an update to that where it'll let you essentially remove or add sections that you don't need or you want to add more. Let's go back. So does anybody have any questions as I'm kind of going through this still? Okay. So one last thing I do want to go over, I'm going to go back into edit this campaign. And let me just go through my email as well so you can see what the test email looked like.
Chris?
Yeah.
Sorry to ask such dumb questions. It's just, it's a lot. But on your first template, are you saying that you don't have a link, so you could put something static, write a newsletter, it would pull from your newsletter that's a PDF, like it's done, and that it would send that to all the people on the list, versus template number 2, you have sections that you can put a link to different websites and things that are moving, that are changing, that are alive. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's a good way to put it.
So,
Yeah, so you can think of template number one as basically like you have your static content in there. And then with template number two, you can have it as link back to things that could be changing over time. In this case, like for example, I had a link back to my website with listings that are going through.
right.
So this is what the actual preview of it looks like. You can
Okay,
see
thank
here,
you.
it just gives you a nice little email, very clean. And I'm looking forward to when I can actually do a little bit more customization, but I think for the time being, they're still pretty useful. Again, they do have those two templates you can work with. And I do think they're pretty useful. I use them quite often for just, in office type things as well. So let's go back. Now, I did mention that they do have a scheduling option as well. And it says you must complete your edits before 1:10. I guess they have some sort of guideline here. I never seen that before. But if I wanted to schedule this now, let's say I am done with the email and I want to schedule this to go out before the weekend. So perhaps I'm going to send it out on a Friday. I can go to schedule. I'm going to say I want to schedule this on Friday. And I want it to go out around, let's say 10 a.m. I'll hit apply date and time. And then what I'll do is if I wanted to send this out, I would hit schedule. And then that's going to schedule that email out. And I would basically have set it and forget it. So I don't have to worry about it. But you can see here, you can edit them up to 30 minutes before their scheduled date and time. So basically if I said, oh, wait, I want to change something real quick, I can go back up to 30 minutes before the scheduled time, which is pretty good. So I am kind of reaching the end here. Let me just see if there's any other questions.
I have a question.
Are we required to share this with our office? Not necessarily. It can just be a list of contacts in your database that you're just kind of your sphere, perhaps. It can be an audience that you're kind of geo farming towards. But yes, if you wanted to, you can also share it to the office. But one thing, you can only share it to one list at a time. So basically, if I wanted to send this email out multiple times, I can go ahead and schedule this or send it. And then what I can do after that is I can duplicate this. So then basically I can have the same email go out, but I'm going to be sending it to different audiences for each one. But you can only select one at a time.
Can you do the same thing with a letter?
I mean, you could copy the letter information into the body of the, I guess like the newsletter template, but I probably wouldn't suggest that right now, just because with all those sections, unless you wanted to have all those additional sections. That is something that can probably be done more so with a smart plan, because you could copy a letter into a smart plan. But the way that everything goes out through a smart plan is just a little bit different. So in that case, if you're trying to do something more where it's a bulk email, I would definitely suggest using the campaigns function versus the smart plans right now. All right, cool. Was there any other questions in here? I did see Mike sent me one, and I can answer yours over here. You had a question about smart plans. When you set up an email or text, does it put your signature in the text automatically? So it doesn't right now. However, if you're setting up a smart plan, you could add your signature into the body of that text or email. So that way, when you're sending it out, it automatically has it already connected. Unfortunately, right now,
you mean
doesn't,
copy and paste?
Sorry, what was that?
You mean copy and paste my signature, my email?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that could be, I can bring that up on one of my regional calls if that's like a feature request that's happening. One other thing I would also probably suggest doing is if that's a feature you wanted to see, because I think that would be useful to have it already auto-populated. they do have a button here where you can submit feedback or post an idea.
Yeah.
And I would probably post that idea in there as like a feature request, because I think that would be pretty useful for sure.
Okay.
However, with your email campaigns, that email signature pops up automatically every time.
But what if I do a text and step two is 1 day and step 3 is an email? Will it pop up?
It won't pop up automatically. You would just have to copy and paste the signature into that body of the email.
Gotcha. So do it once. And then my last question, your app link, right?
Yeah.
If I put in that as, in my signature, can I put that link in the signature on a text or an email, or do I have to copy and paste the link and put it in the link part?
If you're doing it in a text or an email for a smart plan,
Yeah.
you could just like copy this link here.
Yeah, right.
And then you can post that into a text or email. It'll be a live link.
All right. So I don't have to, you know how you have links, copy URL. I don't have to do that. I could just do it where I put my signature, because I have my app in my signature.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. One other thing as well with campaigns, as I was saying with the campaigns here, the emails themselves will actually auto-populate your, you can call it like your signature. And basically, if I go down to the bottom here, it does have a link to my app already there. So this section here is going to auto-populate every time. And you'll notice that it does have links like to my website, my app. So if they click on that, it goes to my app page. But if you're doing it for like a smart plan, all you need to do is literally just copy and paste that link into the text or email body.
And what about like other links? You can't do that. Only our app. Like when I see it, it says use URL link. But with the app, you can put it in your signature. Could you put any link in your signature and it'll go text or email?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. I thought you had to put copy. I thought you had to do it in the separate link where it says URL. No, that's great.
No.
I'd rather use the email. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And have you heard anything about the smart plans that they're going to have the text where they're going to provide the plans like, hey, John, I was just checking in, and then step 2 delay, and then step 3. I went in command conversion, and Nick had said maybe at mega camp.
Yeah, I think they're prepping to release a bunch of updates. I don't recall if they have smart plans as one of the features that they're going to be revealing, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I know that was like something like once they release shared smart plans, you'll be able to do that where anybody can just share their smart plans to anyone, and you don't have to like build it from scratch.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I know that's like something that a lot of people have been waiting for as well. So I'm hoping to see that.
Yeah,
hopefully
cool.
at Mega Camp. That would be great.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
All good. Any other questions? All right, awesome. Before I take off, I just want to quickly, I like to just show, because I post these videos to YouTube, and I just want to quickly show our YouTube channel here, which is Bergen County Partners. And this is where you can access essentially all the videos that we would have been posting over the course of basically the whole year. So things like videos that I've done for classes, or those Ask Al live streams, or even like the classes that Hal has been doing. You can view those later on here, and you can just easily subscribe just by going into YouTube. You can type in Bergen County Partners in the search bar, and I'll take you to our channel here. We're up to 246 subscribers. That's pretty awesome. Want to get it up to 1,000, so give it a subscribe if you haven't already did that. And I'll have this video up there probably later on today, so if you're going to be looking out for it, definitely come back a little later. And hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday. Take care.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you.
Hot Rod, take care.